What is up guys, Taiki here, and welcome to Farms of the Week, where I'll be going over the farms I'm currently in, as well as the farms I'm watching. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, so let's get started. Okay, so I think we can label this week Avalanche Rush Week, because on the 23rd, AAVE announced that AVE Curve is coming next week, which is this week. When is it coming? Who knows, right? I suspect maybe the 29th or the 30th, because on the 29th there's going to be a Twitter Spaces event with Stoney, the founder of AAVE, 0x Murloc, the founder of Trader Joe, as well as 3 other AAVE team members to discuss maximizing your DeFi with the Avalanche Rush. So, either they're going to launch this on the 29th and they're going to be, talking about bullish things, or they're going to be like, yeah, it's coming tomorrow on the 30th, so let's talk about all the things you can do. So, I suspect, end of the month, ideally not October 1st, but it is what it is. So for those that, have never experienced this before, what should you expect, right? Because if you've been following me since the Polygon days, what's about to go down, right? What's about to go down is the money printing game. And I guess if Avalanche was your first DeFi play, you might not really know what to expect. So the best comparison I can make is with Polygon AAVE. In fact, it's like a perfect comparison because Polygon announced a $40 million liquidity mining program. But in actuality, if you zoom in, this is spread out in 2 phases, right? 20 million for 3 months from April 14th to June 14th, and 20 million from June 14th to April 20th, 2022. And if you look at the Avalanche Rush with AAVE, it's essentially $20 million over a 3-month period. So it's the same exact thing. So you can expect the same exact thing to happen, like what happened on Polygon, to happen on Avalanche. So if you flash back to my older videos, right, when I had no hair, and I was using light mode on AAVE, right? I was a complete DeFi noob. You can kind of zoom in on what was actually possible. Let's actually zoom in here. You can see that, you can essentially deposit any asset here and be paid essentially 10%, right? On you can expect to earn at least roughly 10% on Bitcoin, ETH, Avalanche, stablecoins, etc. And when you borrow assets, you can essentially pay 4% interest rate to borrow Tether, but you'll be paid, let's say, I think 16% is going to be too high. I think it'll be lower, but essentially you'll be paid to borrow. You're just going to be making free money essentially, right? And this is why liquidity mining incentives are so powerful, because these foundations, they're like, okay, if you bridge over to our blockchain, we're going to pay you money, right? So that's why I like to play these L1 rotation games. If these foundations are going to give you money, why not take them? So this is AAVE, super bullish, and on Curve, as you can see, I have a farmer hat on. But this was very early on, where I was being paid 10% in dollars and 38% in Matic tokens on Curve. So I don't think it'll be this high. I think it'll be 20 to 30% on dollars, maybe 10 to 20% on Bitcoin. But you can expect that, hey, a lot of people are going to be bridging over. Speaking of bridging over, let's look at the bridging data. I think this is the most important metric to look at in order to assess the health of the ecosystem. And if you want any more proof that the institutions are here, let's look at this, right? Because on Thursday and Friday, we had this Giga Candles where we had a couple whales just deposit $500 million on Thursday and let's say $400 million on Friday. And on the weekend, no one really bridged. So I suspect these to be funds. In actuality, if you look at this, you can track some whales on Zapper, which is a wallet tracking platform. I'm not gonna dox their address because if I was a fund or a whale with $1.2 billion, I wouldn't mind, or I would not want some random YouTuber just doxing my wallet everywhere. But I'll just give a brief overview of what this person is doing, or this fund, who knows. Essentially, this person is just farming a bunch on Benki. This person has $700 million in Benki. They've been borrowing some dollars, and I think they're redepositing back into the lending side. And they have a bunch of key tokens, a bunch of AVAX tokens that they've been farming. Also, they're also farming a bunch of Trader Joe tokens. They don't really have exposure to the Joe token. They're just farming with AVAX, stablecoins, Link, ETH, a bunch of Bitcoin, ETH, AVAX, and they have roughly, I don't even know. I'm not gonna count this right now, but maybe $500,000 worth of Joe tokens. You can assume. Are they gonna sell this? Who knows, right? I'm not in this fund or whatever. This, I don't know this person, but this is always the risk of buying these farm tokens, because who knows what this person is gonna do. Also, I have a suspicion that this wallet address is Alameda. Who knows, right? I'm not gonna. I guess you can look this up, but I'm not gonna completely dox their wallet address. But they're also farming a bunch on Avalanche. You see, they're also on Convex, but they're essentially farming on Benki. Let's look at how much tokens have they been farming. They have a bunch. They were farming a lot. I'm sure they were in this, but they withdrew some just to prepare for AAVE. And on Trader Joe, they have like 700. They almost have, I think, $800,000 with Joe tokens. This is not. I'm not trying to fudge Joe. I think they're a really good app. In fact, I'll talk more bullish things like after this segment. But this is the risk of buying these farm tokens, because who knows what Alameda is going to do. I don't even know if this is Alameda. Someone told me that this is Alameda, but there's no actual way to tell. So speaking of Trader Joe, I still think Trader Joe is one of the best farms on Avalanche, just because you can earn pretty decent yields on liquidity pairs like AVAX USDT, right? We saw all these whales do AVAX pairs. You can do AVAX ETH too, or well, you get the point. There's going to be a bunch of good farms on Avalanche. You can auto compound it on Yoldiac or other auto compounders, but you can earn 35% on Bitcoin USDT, 32% on ETH USDT, and if you use an auto compounder, this can probably get to like 40 to 50%. So, these are really, really, really good farms. So speaking of Trader Joe, in terms of bullish catalysts, Banker Joe is launching on October 4th. I believe they're going to be receiving Avalanche Rush rewards. I don't know how much. Yoldiac only got $100,000 in rewards, so I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Trader Joe is gonna get that many rewards, but who knows? Trader Joe has like funding from of 3 Arrows Capital, Defiance, so maybe like those big whales can just like make some phone calls and give Trader Joe more incentives because they have huge bags. But it's coming. And if you look into the fine print, you see that when Banker Joe launches Banker Joe is essentially it's going to be a money market, right? Lending and borrowing. They're going to have ETH, USDT, DAI, AVAX, Link, Bitcoin. At a later date, this list will be expanded. They're going to use Chainlink oracles, so it's going to be relatively safe. They're also highly audited. And part of the protocol fees from Banker Joe will be used to buy back existing Joe tokens and divert them to the XJoe token, XJoe holders. So, XJoe, let's go here. Well, let's go to farm here. I don't know why it's not showing up. Maybe it's under Joe farm. Yeah, right here. So you can earn 30% staking Joe. It could be something you want to do. As I've often talked about, like me personally, as much as I'm bullish on the Trader Joe, the application, I don't really hold any exposure to Joe token. You can say maybe I'm coping, maybe that's true, but I think I have a pretty big like AVAX exposure, right? I'm just holding AVAX on Benki, earning 8%. Just sitting comfy. I also have some Bitcoin and ETH here as well, and like borrowing dollars and like buying stuff too. But essentially, I'm just sitting comfy. I'm just essentially waiting for AAVE and Curve to come, and then I'll be diverting my funds away from Benki into AAVE, into Curve, and other farms, because when you should know that when AAVE comes over, like billions will flow in, and more applications will come, more developers will come, and I think it'll be a really good farming opportunity for most people. So hopefully this gave a pretty good overview of what you can expect for the rest of the week. Maybe these videos will interest you, but these rates are insane, right? Like it's going to be, I called it the money printing game, right? Money printing game on AAVE, and I suspect the same will happen on Avalanche, and it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. You'll be earning really good yields on stablecoins, Bitcoin, ETH, Avalanche. It'll be a good time. So let's transition over to Luna, because as I'm super bullish Luna. Columbus 5 is coming really, really soon. I'll be recording a video tomorrow with terabytes on what you should expect. Expect that video to be out on Wednesday. But instead of like going over this, because I always go over this like the same thing over and over again, I just wanted to go through this Twitter thread by Luna Omics, Shigeo. He's a Luna whale, and he has a pretty good he has like an interesting mindset on how he thinks about his portfolio. And though I don't really agree, I don't really 100% agree with his portfolio construction, I think there's a lot we can learn from looking at what he does. So he says that he divides his investment strategy into 3 buckets: Apex assets, which is Luna, right? He just calls it Apex assets because he's uber bullish Luna. He has cash flow assets, right? He farms, being a liquidity provider, and speculative assets. So essentially, he has a bunch of Apex assets that he doesn't want to sell, right? So he uses it as collateral to borrow against it, right? As he says here. And with his cash flow assets, with the cash flow he earns from his farming, he buys more Luna, or he buys speculative assets. So he kind of goes over here. So he has some photos where he has a bunch of Luna. He has it, bonded on Anchor, borrowing a bunch of UST against it, and and he's also farming on Terra Swap, right? I think you can earn 20% or 20 to 30% on B Luna and Luna liquidity pools. Also, with the funds that he's borrowing, he's farming on Anchor, he's farming on Pylon, and what else? He's also farming on Mirror. To be honest, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Mirror token. I don't think that farm is that good, but this guy's a whale. Like maybe he knows something that I don't know, right? Anchor as well. I'm farming Anchor just like by borrowing dollars on Anchor. But me personally, I'm not a huge fan of like these liquidity mining. I guess these LP pairs for farm tokens. I'd rather just farm them the easier way, which is just by borrowing dollars. As I often talk about, like, if you want to know like what I'm doing on Luna, I have an entire playlist on the Terra ecosystem, so check that out. I haven't really budged my farming strategy on Luna because, as you can see, like, I bought Luna like in July, and this entire setup is earning me like 42%. I actually thought this is not gonna sustain itself, but it sustained itself pretty well, and I don't really see this changing anytime soon. And with Columbus 5 coming, there's gonna be a bunch more farming opportunities, so I'll be updating this list, or I'll be updating this spreadsheet over time. Okay, so talking about Avalanche, Luna, there's very, very bullish catalysts coming for both. In fact, I think with Columbus 5, I think it's going to be similar to the Bitcoin halving and like EIP 1559, where in the short term, there's not going to be that, like, it's not going to pump, right? I don't think it's going to do that well. In fact, I think the recent run up from $8 to $40 in the price of Luna has mainly been pricing Columbus 5 in, right? However, I think in the mid to long term, Bitcoin halving, super bullish for the price, EIP 1559, super bullish for the ETH price, and Columbus 5 is going to be super bullish for the Luna price because they're literally burning Luna. That being said, let's go over to an ecosystem that I don't really talk about, but I'm still eyeing it, and that is the Polkadot ecosystem. This is for Kusama, right? So it's like a sister chain, it's the Canary network. But I don't really talk about it because there's not much you can do there, right? You can participate in crowd loan, parachain auctions, but to be honest, like, I'm not a huge fan of like locking up my DOT for 2 years or locking up my Kusama for 48 weeks. I don't own any. For full disclosure, I don't own DOT or Kusama, but I thought this was interesting. There's going to be liquid staking available on, I believe Karura, right? Where essentially if you go to Karura, you can stake your Kusama, earn 16% on it, and I guess have your Kusama be liquid. Because if you stake, or if you participate in parachain auctions, you're going to lock up your Kusama, which I'm not a huge fan of, right? I hate locking up my tokens for like a year. Right? That just sounds kind of sus. But if you can stake it on Karura, you can earn 16%, and that's going to be pretty liquid. And on top of that, you're going to be earning Karura rewards, right? So if you stake Kusama, you'll earn, or they're going to be allocating 100,000 Karura for 2 weeks. I believe this is starting the 29th or the 30th. Or the 28th. Okay, so tomorrow. So I'll be linking this in the description. So, you can either stake your Kusama, be paid in Karura tokens, or you can provide liquidity for liquid Kusama and Kusama, which, there's not going to be impermanent loss risk here, and earn, I don't know what the APRs are going to be, but, you're going to earn some tokens. So, I still think the Polkadot ecosystem is really, really interesting. I like them personally. So, when I do take profits from Avalanche and I rotate into other ones, Polkadot and Kusama, they're going to be part of the ecosystems that I'll be rotating into. And like I mentioned, I'm not rotating them into it yet. I think this is more like a Q4, Q1 play. So, just something to be aware of, right? Something to be aware of. And I really encourage everyone to, just start thinking about taking profits on Avalanche, because though I am super bullish on Avalanche, I don't really think it's going to like sustainably hit like these high price targets. I had a video with Ben Cowen. He has like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has these risk metrics, and at the time of recording, the price of AVAX was $74, and we were roughly in the 0.65 risk range. So, in fact, like, you shouldn't expect Avalanche to get like the red area here, right? But the risk metric essentially looks at like what has been the historical volatility of AVAX. Like, what is it capable of doing, and if you account for diminishing returns, like, what can you expect the price of AVAX to do? So, just be aware that we are no longer early on AVAX, right? The time to be early on AVAX was 7 weeks ago, right? If you're buying AVAX for the first time, like, are you late? I don't really think so, but are you early? Definitely not, despite what other YouTubers might tell you. So just to be open-minded about, maybe start thinking about rotations, because, I feel like I've been the most bullish YouTuber when it comes to AVAX, but I am also realistic with my expectations. Because when it comes to, let me just refresh this to update it. Because when it comes to, I guess, price targets with crypto, it's really hard because how do you value these things? And I feel like the best way to value these ecosystem is by looking at comps, right? So for example, like Avalanche is roughly at $15 billion market cap. Like if it 2x's, assuming nothing else moves, it's going to be like higher than the market cap of Polkadot. And like, can Avalanche sustainably flip Polkadot? Me personally, in my opinion, I don't think so. Not financial advice. Not to, like, don't get me wrong. I think Avalanche can hit $200 because it could enter this huge bubble, but I don't think it can sustainably flip, let's say Solana or Polkadot, I guess in the long term, right? Because I mean, Avalanche has so many bullish catalysts. So can it like double? Can it 3x? Of course. However, just my opinion, like I don't think Avalanche can sustainably flip Terra, Polkadot, Solana, even XRP. Actually, I don't want to say anything about XRP. It's kind of weird, but I feel like this is like the best way to look at it, because for Avalanche to 2x, it's going to be in line with the valuation of Polkadot, and that just kind of sounds expensive to me, right? Me personally. So I mean, although I totally expect Avalanche to flip Terra in the short term, right? In fact, if it doesn't flip like Terra and hit like 20 billion in market cap, I'll be wildly disappointed because my Avalanche bags are pretty big, for those that know. But I do think that Terra deserves to be in the top 10. I do think that in the long term, Terra is going to have a higher market cap than Avalanche. I'm more bullish Terra than Avalanche. But just so you know, I'm playing the rotation game, right? I'm in Avalanche because I knew this will happen, and I'm going to take profits on the way up. Have I taken any profits yet? No, because I have like higher expectations for Avalanche, for it to enter a bigger bubble. But just look at like the relative market caps. Because I don't really talk about Solana, I don't really talk about Polkadot, I definitely don't talk about Doge. But does Avalanche deserve to flip all these things? I don't know, right? I do not know. So that's just my opinion for now. Because you have to be realistic with yourself, right? Like if you bought Avalanche at $70, like sure you want it to go to $200, but is that based on hope or is that based on realistic expectations? I think the more realistic expectations is Avalanche to enter a bubble. Maybe it'll flip Polkadot in the short term, but then it's gonna just crash down like Solana did, right? Because Solana went to $200 and it just crashed. So I expect all these ecosystems to do similar things. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you're excited about Avalanche Rush, because I definitely am. And let me know like what your thoughts are when it comes to like my Avalanche, I guess, market cap prediction, right? Because as bullish as I am, as I have been on Avalanche, I'm not that bullish, right? I'm not that bullish. I'm realistic. Who knows? I mean, I'll be happy if I'm wrong. I'll be happy if it sustainably gets to $200, because that means like, I'll make more money. But I'm not going to count on it. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you want to know what I'm doing with my portfolio and like get daily updates, 2 weekly videos a day. 2 weekly videos or 2 private videos a week. Check out my private Discord. Link is in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a good one and have fun farming out there.